rain-slicked rooftops, a silver hush coating the neighborhood. I stood beside the window, tie loosened, collar damp from the misty walk home. Elena's silhouette glowed inside the kitchen, her movements rhythmic, graceful, hypnotic. Something about the way she held a wine glass, bare feet pressing tile, made my throat dry. She didn't hear me enter. Her hum floated through the air, soft, teasing. I watched a moment longer, soaking her in like I hadn't in years. "Miss me?" I said, setting my suitcase down. Her eyes lit up, but her smile didn't reach them. "Always." We embraced, brief, warm, familiar. And yet something about it felt incomplete. I noticed a second plate on the table. 2 half-empty glasses. She followed my gaze. "Leo stopped by," she offered casually. "My brother. I hadn't seen him in nearly 7 months. Last time, a rushed barbecue, awkward hugs, unfinished stories. We'd grown apart, life tugging us in different directions. He stayed reckless, charming, untethered. I traded freedom for stability, built a life, found Elena. Or maybe she found me. He's upstairs," she added. "No warning. No heads up. No phone call. He was passing through. I told him to crash here." I nodded, throat tightening. "Of course." Dinner passed in polite conversation. Leo joined us, fresh from a shower, towel slung low. He always had that casual confidence, like rules bent around him. Elena laughed too much. Her eyes lingered on him longer than necessary. My stomach churned. He told stories about Brazil, rooftop parties, women who drank mezcal barefoot. She leaned in, asking questions, biting her lip. I drank quietly, mind spinning. That night, thunder rolled across the horizon. Leo took the guest room. Elena and I lay in silence, backs facing. "Did you miss him?" I asked, voice low. She hesitated. "He's your brother." That wasn't an answer. She exhaled slowly. "He's magnetic. Always has been." I stared at the ceiling, counting cracks, patterns. I remembered childhood. Leo stealing my bike, getting away with broken rules, winning hearts effortlessly. He took space. And now, he took her attention. I wanted to dismiss the thoughts. But the next morning, I found a folded shirt, his, on the bathroom floor. Red lipstick stained the collar. Morning fog drifted over the suburb while birds chirped unseen. I shuffled downstairs, stomach churning from restless dreaming. Kitchen chairs stood crooked, empty mugs cooled beside the sink. Elena's perfume lingered, jasmine wreathed with spiced citrus, stinging my nostrils with memory. I discovered them on the patio, barefoot, sharing steam rising from 2 single espressos. Leo's laughter rippled through crisp air, sliding beneath my skin like a razor. Elena's robe hung loosely, satin sash barely nodded, revealing delicate collarbones he traced with hungry eyes. My arrival cut their intimacy, yet neither flushed. Instead, Elena gestured toward an untouched cup. "Join us," she murmured. I obeyed, swallowing disappointment, masking fury behind pleasantries. Conversation skated across trivialities. Weather, travel routes, football predictions, yet every syllable vibrated with subtext. Fingers brushed porcelain, table water rings glimmered, both subtle sensual signals broadcasting appetite. I watched, impotent, admiring and despising them simultaneously. After breakfast, Leo announced an errand downtown. Elena offered guidance, scribbling directions upon a napkin already carrying faint lipstick print. Their hands brushed, silence thundered. He departed whistling, motorbike engine revving, leaving exhaust swirling like burnt incense. Elena faced me finally. Her gaze gleamed, unapologetic, feral. "Ask whatever you crave," she said. "Did anything occur?" I questioned. She exhaled, studying sunlight pooling across polished hardwood. "Last night, nothing irreversible happened," she responded, each word measured, slippery. "But desire is a river, blocking current only deepens undertow." Temples pounding, I contemplated boundaries, love's definitions, masculine pride. 11 years together, yet here we balanced upon knife point. My own imagination painted scenes, her lips roaming his abdomen, his hands weaving through raven hair, producing simultaneous torment and arousal. I admitted it aloud. Part of me wants details. Her eyebrows arched. Details, she echoed. Truth. Raw. No filters. My voice trembled. She stepped closer, brushing her thumb across my lower lip. Tonight, you'll witness whatever truth resembles. Statement, not proposition. Daylight crawled. I attempted reading, jogging, grocery shopping. Nothing quieted internal storms. By dusk, house vibrated anticipation. I arranged candles, decanted wine, ironed shirts, rituals granting illusory control. Doorbell rang. Leo entered wearing charcoal blazer, cologne unfamiliar to me, smelling of cedar, daring, endless roadways. Elena descended the staircase dripping elegance, crimson slip hugging curves, gold anklet jingling each movement. She kissed me softly, then him passionately. Sparks flew, scorching remaining innocence. We dined, we drank, we laughed. Words blurred, laughter echoed, glances lingered. Eventually Elena stood, extended a hand toward her chosen guest, and whispered, "Come." They proceeded upstairs. Heart hammering, I followed, silent spectator. Bedroom lamps glowed amber. Clothes fell like petals. Skin met skin, sighs mingled. Elena's eyes fixed upon mine while Leo kissed her throat. She beckoned me nearer, though I remained rooted, voyeur and participant simultaneously, soul cleaved. A boundary shattered, trust mutated into something darker, intoxicating. I felt alive, afraid, enslaved, liberated, every contradiction coiled together. Night devoured all hesitation. When dawn surfaced, sheets reeked of sweat, coffee, forbidden blossoms. I fully understood tomorrow could never mimic yesterday. We three now harbored a covenant impossible to unwind. I didn't sleep. Their breathing slowed beside me, syncopated rhythms haunting every pulse beat. Her back curled toward his chest, while his arms slung across her waist like ownership. My side of the bed felt arctic, untouched. I stared at the ceiling, the fan slicing shadows above, counting the seconds since I lost whatever version of her I thought I possessed. By sunrise, silence blanketed us. Leo stretched, scratched his jaw, and rose without words. Elena stirred briefly, eyes fluttering open. She didn't look at me. "Coffee?" I asked, voice foreign in my throat. She nodded. Downstairs, I fumbled through brewing motions, beans grinding, steam hissing, mugs clinking. My reflection in the microwave door startled me. Hollow gaze, clenched jaw, unshaven. Leo appeared shirtless, grinning without apology. "Last night," he began, pausing for effect, "was intense." I didn't reply. He took the mug, winked. "You okay with this?" Was I? No part of me recognized the man allowing another's hands to claim his wife. Yet something inside, masochistic curiosity, maybe twisted affection, compelled me forward instead of out the door. "I'm watching something unfold," I muttered. "Not sure what it becomes." He chuckled, turned, walked toward the balcony. Elena emerged minutes later in my sweatshirt, bare thighs exposed beneath the hem. Her hair tangled, lips swollen, aura radiant. "You stayed," she said softly. "I told you I would. I need to hear it again." I faced her. "Whatever happens, don't lie. Take him, want him, crave him. Just leave deceit behind." Her breath caught. "You're serious." "I mean it. If boundaries must blur, let me draw them first." And with that, something ancient broke between us. No longer were we bound by monogamy's brittle promise. Instead, we crafted a new architecture, strange, primal, laced with vulnerability. That night, she dressed differently. Silk gown the shade of bruised plum, high slit revealing miles of skin. She spun for me before applying mascara. "Beautiful," I said. "For you," she whispered, then added, "but also him." We waited, wine flowing, nerves unraveling. Leo arrived late. Leather jacket, cigarette behind one ear, devil-may-care grin carved across his face. I handed him a drink, pretending my fingers didn't shake. Elena danced between us, whispering things I couldn't hear. She guided us both upstairs, each of us helpless to her orbit. They began slowly. Kisses, touches, gasps. I remained at the edge, fully clothed, watching. Eventually, she pulled me forward. Her hands undid my buttons, Leo's eyes watching now. 3 bodies. 1 heartbeat. What followed can't be described through language alone. It wasn't just lust. It was grief, madness, worship, destruction, rebirth. Every fear I ever buried surfaced beneath her moans. I didn't climax that night. I didn't even try. I let them consume one another while I studied every expression, memorizing details. Her jaw slack when he entered her, his fists gripping her hips, her scream muffled into my chest. This wasn't love anymore. It was something stranger. Something irreversible. Time dissolved. Days bled into nights. Our arrangement, if it could be called that, thrived in silence. No discussions. No retrospection. Just bodies moving through motion, breathless, hungry, always one step past sanity. Leo began staying over more frequently. First weekends, then midweeks. Eventually, there were toothbrushes beside mine, jackets slung beside my own. Elena never objected. I watched them slip into rituals. He'd cook breakfast. She'd kiss his shoulder. He'd bring her flowers. She'd wear the same perfume she wore on our honeymoon. I noticed every detail. I catalogued each betrayal. Yet I never left. Each time they disappeared upstairs, I followed, not always physically, but through sound, memory, imagination. Sometimes she called me to join. Other times I remained outside, ear pressed to wood, absorbing symphonies of moans, the rhythm of furniture striking walls. It stopped feeling like consent. It began feeling like surrender. One evening, I returned home early. Leo's car was already parked. The sun hadn't even set. I stepped quietly inside, hearing water running. Their laughter echoed down the hall. I walked toward the master bathroom. The door was cracked open. Steam clouded the mirror. Her back was arched against the tile. His hands roamed places once only mine. Her mouth formed shapes I hadn't seen in years. Open, pleading, euphoric. I didn't make a sound. I left. That night, I drove for hours without direction. I passed familiar landmarks. Our favorite cafe, the bookstore where I proposed, the old apartment with the creaky stairs. Nostalgia didn't soothe. It burned. I ended up at a cheap motel. I didn't sleep. I lay staring at the ceiling, tracing imagined cracks, just like that first night. At dawn, I returned. She sat on the couch, hair damp, fingers trembling over a chipped mug. She looked up, eyes red. "I thought you were gone for good," she whispered. "I almost was. I didn't know you were coming home. You never ask anymore." She set the mug down. "You gave permission. I gave truth. Not license. I thought they were the same." I wanted to scream, throw things, rewind every hour since Leo reappeared. Instead, I sat across from her. "Do you love him?" She hesitated. "Not the way I love you." "That's not a no." Tears welled. "He brings something raw. You give me peace. But peace isn't always enough." And there it was, our unspoken wound. She craved chaos. I offered calm. She sought fire. I was warm sand. We were opposites orbiting opposing planets, pretending to be moons. That night, I didn't go upstairs. I didn't wait outside their door. I walked the city until the stars faded. I realized then, I hadn't lost her. I had given her away. And she never tried to stop me. Rain returned. A dull, ceaseless drizzle soaked the streets, matching my internal silence. I wandered bookstores, lingered inside cafes, ordered drinks I never finished. Faces blurred. Voices dissolved. Nothing pierced the fog. Messages from Elena arrived sporadically, brief, restrained, carefully edited. No apologies. No confessions. Just check-ins. One simply read, "You okay?" I didn't respond. Not out of anger, out of nothingness. 3 days passed before I returned. She stood in the doorway, hair pulled back, wearing an old sweater I'd thought she discarded. For once, her beauty felt distant, like a painting behind glass. "You don't have to explain," I said, brushing past her. "I wasn't going to." I paused mid-step. That hurt more than anything. Leo appeared moments later, eyes avoiding mine, voice absent of swagger. He started to speak. I held up a hand. "Don't." That evening, we three sat across one another, television muttering in the background. No wine. No candlelight. No flirting. Just breath and distance. "I think it's time we acknowledge something," I began. "This, whatever it became, isn't equilibrium. It's erosion." Elena nodded slowly. Leo stared into his glass, swirling amber liquid like it held answers. "I allowed it," I continued. "But I can't survive inside it anymore." Silence expanded. Then, unexpectedly, Leo spoke. "I never meant for it to escalate. What began as attraction turned strange. Addictive." Elena looked at him sharply. That was new. She'd never looked at him with anything but softness. I pressed on. Maybe I wanted to see how far it could go. Maybe I wanted to break without admitting it. But watching you take her, over and over, shattered something I can't rebuild. She reached for my hand. I withdrew. "I loved you," I whispered. "Truly. Completely. But what we built got hollow. You filled that emptiness with him." I watched, helpless, because I mistook endurance for love. Tears traced her cheeks. "I didn't mean to hurt you." "I know," I said. "But you did. And that matters." The following morning, Leo packed. No declarations. No farewells. Elena watched from the window, arms crossed. When his taillights vanished, she sat beside me. "Now what?" she asked. "I don't know. I miss you already. I miss the version of us that never existed." Days turned routine again. Meals, work, silence. But every laugh felt thinner. Every touch felt rehearsed. Our foundation had cracked too wide. One night, she tried to pull me back into bed, lips hungry, hands desperate. I kissed her, but it felt like trespassing inside someone else's home. Afterward, I said nothing. Just lay there, staring at shadows crawling along the ceiling. And in that moment, I realized something terrifying. I still wanted her. But I no longer belonged with her. Dawn painted the horizon with diluted amber, cold and quiet. I rose early, leaving her sleeping, limbs sprawled diagonally across the bed like she owned every edge. Maybe she did. Maybe I had just borrowed it all. I stood in the kitchen, grinding coffee slowly, savoring each crackle. A bird sang outside, sharp, solitary. I hadn't noticed birds in weeks. The small sounds returned once everything else stopped screaming. Elena entered barefoot, silent, wearing that same sweater. Her expression held softness, something maternal, but her eyes, those once magnetic eyes, had shifted. She kissed my temple without speaking. We sat at the table, facing opposite directions, sharing coffee without warmth. "I dreamt we were strangers," she said quietly. "We passed each other on a bridge. You didn't stop. Maybe it's because I already knew the ending." She smiled, faint and sad. "I never knew how to choose you right. You chose. Just not me." Neither of us cried. There were no more tears left. Only breath and memory. Later that day I packed. Not dramatically. No yelling, no broken plates, no shattered mirrors. Just methodical folding, zipping, organizing. She sat on the edge of the bed, fingers twisting a necklace I'd given her 3 birthdays ago. "You're not angry anymore," she observed. "No. I'm emptied. Do you think you'll hate me later?" I considered it. "No. I'll mourn you. Quietly. Probably forever." She looked away, lips trembling. "He texted last night." I didn't respond. "He asked if I still think about him." "And do you?" She nodded. "Then go," I said, not unkindly. "Don't build fences around things that want to roam." Her shoulders slumped, then relaxed. like she'd been waiting for permission again. That was the final wound. I left her the house. I couldn't bear walking past familiar doorways knowing what echoes still haunted them. I moved into a modest apartment above a florist, surrounded by strange scents and thin walls. But it was mine. Clean. Untouched. Nights were the hardest. I'd pour bourbon, reread her old letters, wonder when I became a man who allowed himself to be erased. Sometimes she called. We talked about groceries, weather, old friends. Never us. That version was dead. Weeks passed. One afternoon, I saw them, her and Leo, across the park. He held her hand. She laughed. A genuine, full-bodied laugh. I watched them for a moment too long before turning away. That night, I wrote a letter. I never mailed it. It simply read, "You were never mine to keep, only mine to lose gracefully." I folded it once, placed it in a drawer beneath unpaid bills and forgotten photos. And finally, I felt something I hadn't felt in months. Not relief, not peace, but the beginning of freedom. And it was enough.